We are back.
Wow. Say hi.
Say hi.
Do you want to say
You wanted
it?
to be on camera. You insisted on being here.
Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, now we're going to do our review, so you
Do
need
you
to
want to
be
say
quiet.
your review? Oh, okay. I guess he didn't want to say his review. He's disgruntled.
He's disgruntled like a U.S. Postal Service worker. Last time, we reviewed Lindsay Lohan and The Parent Trap. And we're back for some more Lindsay Lohan action. Freaky Friday. That sounded not appropriate.
Lindsay Lohan
But is Freaky
action.
Friday appropriate? 2003. I was 16 years old when I remember seeing this in theaters when I was in high school. Raging with hormones. I was totally infatuated with Lindsay Lohan at the time. And I thought this movie was great. Andrew Gunn pitched this movie. He is the producer. It is an adaptation of the 1972 novel by Mary Rogers, also called Freaky Friday. And this is a remake of the 1976 Disney live-action movie starring Jodie Foster. And in that film, the mom was played by Barbara Harris.
Jodie Foster? Oh, wow.
Jodie Foster plays the daughter
I didn't
in
know.
the original version.
Oh, okay.
So in this iteration, it has an hour and 37-minute runtime. It is directed by Mark Waters. I didn't really dig too deep into him. This is a thrifted copy, formerly owned by the Worthington family. Thank you, Worthington family, for donating this DVD so I can buy it and do a review.
Wow.
That being said, we watched it. This movie went through several iterations. Andrew Gunn wanted another movie with mother and daughter after the success of 2001 The Princess Diaries, where two female leads were the stars, Julie
a great
Andrews and
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. So
I
then
love Julie Andrews and Anne Hathaway.
they got the green light to make Freaky Friday with several tweaks to the script. And this version of the film is not the version that we could have seen. So let's talk a little bit about this movie. This movie had a $26 million budget. It was very successful. It went on to gross $160 million at the box office. Jamie Lee Curtis was nominated for a Golden Globe for her performance as the mom
Dang.
alongside Lindsay Lohan. This movie had several people try out, and they originally really wanted Jodie Foster to reprise her role, except for now it was going to be a role reversal, and she was going to be the mom,
Oh,
but she said no.
that's a bummer.
And then finally, they had cast two people for the main mother and daughter starring roles. And right before production was to start, 4 days before production was to start, one of the main actresses dropped out. So originally, Annette Bening was cast to play the mom. 4 days before production started, she dropped out. And Michelle... I did not write her last name down. Dang it! Some girl from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not Sarah Michelle
Sarah Michelle
Gellar.
Gellar?
Not Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Dang it.
Annette Bening and Michelle
Williams?
Trachtenberg.
Michelle Williams? Oh, no.
Michelle Trachtenberg was cast to
wasn't
play
in
the
that.
daughter.
I'm
And then
sorry.
she dropped out.
Michelle Williams was in Dawson's Creek. Never mind.
So then the producers said they had seen Jamie Lee Curtis in James Cameron's True Lies in 1994, and they really liked her energy in that film, so they reached out to her and they'd asked her if she'd do it. And the Disney studios, they said, well, we need another strong actress, and we know that Lohan did great in this movie, so let's give her a role to be in this movie. Now, she worked for over a year to master all the guitar parts, only to have her guitar work overdubbed by a studio musician in post-production, which
That's
was very
sad.
disappointing to hear. This movie was originally
her?
supposed to be a mother who was a psychologist, which the Jamie Lee Curtis character is, but the Lohan character was going to be a journalist for her student newspaper, and then the studio felt like it would be too nerdy people, the roles were too similar, so then they changed her character to a goth, but they felt like a goth character wasn't relatable enough.
Yeah.
So then they settled on Lohan being like 90s grunge punk,
And
and they felt that would be more likable in her in a girl band. And originally the whole final scene with the House of Blues, Gwen Stefani was supposed to be in it, but that didn't happen. So we get this movie. Is it a classic of the early 2000s? Critics on Rotten Tomato, their average is 88%, which I do not get it. The audience score, I feel like, is more realistic. The 250,000 people on Rotten Tomatoes have submitted their audience score.
Okay.
Their average is 58%.
Oh.
IMDb average is 6.3 out of 10. However, Google users, not very many people have submitted their reviews, but out of the 166 people that have submitted their reviews, their average is 4.3 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
So before I get into my review and your review, let's kind of give everybody a little backstory.
Okay, well, basically it's about this mother and daughter. They don't really get along super well at this point in their relationship. The mom is about to get remarried and the dad died like several years ago, and so it's kind of a point of contention that she's getting remarried because the Lindsay Lohan character like still misses her dad. And then they just are not understanding each other or connecting, basically. And then they go out for Chinese food, like the Lindsay Lohan character and her younger brother.
No, it's not a rehearsal dinner at that point.
No.
Okay.
They go out as a family for Chinese food with the soon-to-be new, stepdad and the little brother and Lindsay Lohan and her mom, and they're just still arguing and going at it. And then this elderly Chinese lady decides, like, okay, you know what? These two need to realize what it's like to be in each other's shoes. So some fortune cookie magic happens, and they swap bodies.
That's the movie. And it's cringy. Very cringy. What do we got there?
This is a newborn, and I'm not going to show his face, but he's here. He's
I remember,
not in the belly anymore.
I remember loving this movie as a hormone-raging 16-year-old infatuated with Lindsay Lohan.
Okay.
It does not hold up for me. I have refined with age into my movie viewing. I don't know.
Wait a minute. You're still attracted to some, the 19 Kids and Counting mom you said was hot. So
that Duggar mom. Oof.
Sorry, Duggar mom.
And Lindsay Lohan.
You're attractive.
Pre-plastic surgery was very attractive to me. But now she's had a lot of work done. Not the same, but she's also a year older than me. I ain't no young buck, and neither is old Lindsay. With that being said, this movie was very cringy for me. Hard to watch at times. Didn't really captivate my attention. I found myself scrolling through half the movie. It just doesn't hold up to me. The movie that I was thinking of, and I wrote it in my notes here, because there's a lot of body swap genre films, and you and I reviewed Big together.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks in that role is iconic.
Yeah.
As
but
an
it's
adult,
kind of different because he just morphs into like a young
it's a different
version
vibe
of himself, and this one they actually
swap
there's
bodies.
an earthquake that only they feel, and then
there's some mystical
the mom
enchantments.
ends up in Lindsay Lohan's body, and then vice versa. But I mean, the cool thing about it is that they get to experience each other's lives, like how it really is, not how the other person. They both thought, oh, you have it so easy, your life is perfect or whatever, and my life is really hard. And then when they swapped bodies, I just like how they realized that each of them did have challenges that were more difficult than they realized.
You're right, because the mom was thinking the Lindsay Lohan daughter is like some slacker and getting attention all the time. But in the reality, there was reasons for that she didn't understand, and she had all these preconceived notions about her daughter being an unwashed rock and roller.
And she thought that the guy that she liked was just like this loser trash.
The love interest for Lindsay was played by none other than
Chad Michael Murray from One Tree Hill, which I didn't really watch the show, but I just know who he is.
Overall, this movie is, I don't know why it's considered such an iconic movie.
Like, it's good, but it's not like a classic, right? Like, you can watch it and it's entertaining, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna watch that over and over,
Not
like
really.
It's just okay. So
what do you rate it?
But for what it is, it's good. I guess I'm 2.5 out of 5.
I'm 2.
It's good.
I'm a 2 out of 5.
And there's some laughs, but it's not like, oh, I need to own this so I can like watch it all the time.
I just don't know how this movie has an 88% Rotten Tomatoes score, but then a movie like Walter Mitty has a Rotten Tomatoes score from the critics in the 50s. When to me, this is a 4 out of 5 movie.
It's so good.
It's just so odd how critics latch on to certain movies. Yeah. When clearly the audience rating on this is much more of a realistic rating at 58%.
Maybe a lot of teenage boys were reviewing it, and they were like you. They were just kind of macking on hot young Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis, she cuts her hair and it's like, oh, it was already short, and then she cuts it even shorter. Just no good. That's just a sidebar.
Like I don't know. I just found this movie very cringy, and it made me super uncomfortable. And then they
Yeah.
just kind of gloss over this whole situation where the Chad Michael Murray is macking on the body swapped Lindsay Lohan in the body of Jamie Lee Curtis, but
Yeah,
he
like,
clearly doesn't know that.
he's got
And
the hots for the
she's
mom
supposed.
for a while.
It's creepy and
It's
weird.
Super creepy.
Classic Disney, right?
But
What
then,
are they doing?
But then when he sees her playing like with her girl band or whatever, then he's like, "Oh yeah," and then he likes the young character again. So I don't know. It was weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
do you have anything else to add?
That was it, and I've got this infant here.
It's D-Day, the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion today, folks. We're gonna go watch Saving Private Ryan. Review that next. Do you think?
And my kids cannot watch that. It's
do you
rated
think that
R.
you could suffer through that?
I don't know.
Have you
I'm
suffered
not-
through that?
No, but
You-
I don't think I feel.
I tried to get her to watch Band of Brothers.
It was so boring.
You don't know what you're talking about. I've suffered through
People are gonna get
Roswell
so
in bits and pieces.
Mad at me for saying that. Hey,
You
you
gotta-
watch all of it, and you said it was good and entertaining.
All
Roswell
right.
is amazing, by the way. Watch it. The old one. I haven't seen the new one. I probably won't. But
That's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Huge update. Tomorrow I might be employed. It's been almost 7 months. Got an interview at Subaru of Modesto. So if you need a Subaru, I could be there.
hopefully,
All-wheel drive, Japanese, Pleiades for the logo.
as my grandpa used to call it, Subaru.
There you go, folks. Some of the best years of my life were spent in a 2012 5-speed manual transmission Subaru Forester. That is a fact.
But I couldn't drive because I can't learn how to drive stick shift. I tried and I couldn't do
It's
it.
not for everybody.
It was hard.
All right, that's it. We're going way off the rails here. Goodbye, folks.
Have a good one.